They say the Hawthorne lighthouse has been burning blue since the night my mother vanished. Tonight, the flame is finally dying, and it's dragging me back to the cliff where secrets outnumber stars. I return to claim an inheritance I never wanted, a cracked mirror that shows the moment you die, a nursery frozen in 1993, and a guardian whose love feels more like a cage. But beneath the estate's polished floors lies a chamber cut from bedrock, a room where blood never dries and the tide sings lullabies to the dead. Adrian Hawthorne swears the key he pressed into my palm opens only a door. I'm starting to believe it unlocks the last breath of everyone who's ever loved me. One truth remains buried: my mother didn't drown, she was kept. And if I break the mirror to free her ghost, the entire family line shatters with it. Choose the past, and the sea reclaims its witness. Choose the future, and I become the keeper of a darkness older than the cliffs. Either way, the lighthouse goes dark at dawn. But dawn is still hours away. And something is already climbing the stairs. Hello everyone, this is Drama Labs, let the story begin. I never meant to return to Raven Cove. When I left 2 years ago, boarding the midnight ferry under a sky that smelled of salt and rust, I swore that the lighthouse, the cliffs, and the man who owned them would stay buried in the same watery dark I was sailing into. Yet here I am again, suitcase lighter than my pulse, staring at the iron gate of a Hawthorne estate while gulls scream overhead like unpaid mourners. The Hawthornes built this town the way masons build tombs, slowly, deliberately, and always with a body hidden in the foundation. Everyone knows the story, how old Elias Hawthorne vanished the night the lighthouse lamp first burned blue instead of white, how his son Julian locked the door of the east wing and never spoke another word. Everyone except me. I only knew the grandson, Adrian Hawthorne, my self-declared guardian since the day I, orphaned at 14, was shipped north like excess baggage. I called him uncle, he let me, though the blood between us was thinner than the paper my adoption papers were printed on. 2 years ago I told him I loved him. 2 hours later I was gone. The gate creaks open before I can reach for the bell. Mrs. Doyle, housekeeper, gatekeeper, and self-elected conscience of the estate, stands in the gap like a crow guarding carrion. Miss Cassidy, she says, using the surname they gave me, the one that never fit. We weren't expecting you. I wasn't expecting to come. I step inside anyway. The gravel crunches like bones. Adrian sent a telegram. Said it was urgent. Her eyes flicked to the black ribbon tied around my wrist, the only remnant of the life I'd stitched together in Montreal. He's in the solarium. Try not to upset him. He hasn't slept since the mirror cracked. The mirror. Of course, the Hawthorne heirloom, 6 feet of tarnished silver said to show you the moment you die. I'd laughed when Adrian first told me, called it cheap folklore. He hadn't laughed back. I find him standing in a shaft of brittle sunlight, one hand pressed to the glass as if checking for fever. The crack runs jagged from corner to corner, splitting his reflection like a fault line. When he turns, I realize the fracture isn't the only thing that's changed. His face is sharper, carved by nights I wasn't there to soften. You came, he says. Not a question. You lied. I toss the telegram onto the table between us. Come home. Grandfathers will read tonight. Matters of life and death. Elias Hawthorne died 30 years ago. Try harder. Adrian's smile is a thin blade. Grandfather left more than money, Cass. He left a riddle. Solve it, the estate's yours. Fail, and the state takes everything, including the lighthouse. Why should I care? My voice cracks like old paint. You made it clear I was never really family. He flinches, barely. Because the riddle starts with your mother. The room tilts. My mother, dead before I could pronounce her name, erased from every family album, her existence whispered only in the past tense. Adrian has never spoken of her until now. He hands me a key the color of dried blood. East wing. 3rd floor. You'll know what to do when you see it. I want to refuse. Instead, my fingers close around the metal, already warm. The east wing smells of iodine and wet stone, as if the ocean has been breathing through the walls. I climb the stairs counting heartbeats instead of steps. The door at the end groans open into a nursery frozen in 1993, rocking horse mid-gallop, mobile of glass stars still turning though no breeze reaches here. On the crib's blanket lies a Polaroid. A woman with my eyes holds a newborn swaddled in blue. On the back, someone has scrawled, "She never left. She waits below." Below. The lighthouse. I run. Down the servants' stair, through the kitchen where Mrs. Doyle pretends not to see, out into the dusk that clings like damp wool. The lighthouse path is overgrown, thorns tearing at my jeans. The door, padlocked since the night Elias vanished, swings inward at my push. Inside, the spiral stairs descend instead of rising, each step slick with algae. At the bottom is a chamber carved from bedrock, lit by that same unnatural blue light. The mirror stands here too, older, darker, reflecting not my face but my back, as if I'm already walking away. Beside it, a steel medical table, leather restraints unbuckled. On the wall, newspaper clippings, local woman lost at sea, body never found. A clipping dated 3 months before my birth. The photo is the same woman from the Polaroid. My mother didn't die. She was kept here. Behind me, boots on stone. Adrian steps into the light, eyes reflecting the mirror's glow. She tried to take you away from him. Elias couldn't bear it. He kept her until he stops, throat working. Until she stopped trying. I taste copper. And you knew. I was 16. He told me it was mercy. That she'd have drowned you both. He reaches for me. I've spent 10 years trying to undo what he built. The will, the riddle, it's bait. The estate transfers only if the heir proves they'll protect the family's secret. Otherwise, the state steps in, the chamber is exposed, and she becomes a headline again. The mirror flickers. For an instant I see her, eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream, before the image ripples back to my own pale face. Choose, Adrian says. Sign the papers, keep her ghost buried, and the Hawthorne name dies with us. Or walk away, let them dig, and she'll finally have a grave. I think of the nights I pressed my ear to the nursery wall, hearing lullabies no record played. I think of the empty photo frames, the way Mrs. Doyle always turned mirrors to the wall when I entered a room. I lift the key still in my fist. It fits a lock I hadn't noticed on the table's underside. Inside is a single sheet of vellum, property transfers to the bearer upon destruction of evidence. Strike the glass. Adrian's breath catches. Cass. I drive the key into the mirror. The surface shatters like ice, blue light bleeding into darkness. For a moment the chamber fills with salt wind and a woman's sigh. Then silence. When we emerge, dawn is smearing gold across the horizon. The lighthouse stands empty, lamp dark forever. In the sand at our feet lies a small glass star from the mobile, warm as skin. Adrian bends to pick it up. She used to say stars were holes in the sky where the lost could look through. He places it in my palm, closing my fingers over it. You're not lost anymore. I close my eyes. Behind them, the mirror is still breaking, each shard reflecting a different future. In one, I stay and the estate becomes a museum of monsters. In another, I leave and the sea takes the cliffs, erasing every footprint. I open my eyes. Tell me the rest, I say. Everything he buried, everything you tried to forget. And then we decide what deserves to survive. The tide rolls in, slow and certain. Somewhere beneath it, my mother is finally free.